So I'm the founder of a technology company called XEROSTREAM. And the idea behind XEROSTREAM is to take the inexhaustible supply of water that's in the atmosphere and convert that into the best water on Earth. And we've been for 10 years exploring nanofiltration technology. So not only are we making water from the air, and that's not exclusive to us, just so you know, there are other people making water from the air, but no one is doing what XEROSTREAM is doing, which is to transform that water into the best water for your health. Now, is there a more important commodity on Earth than water? If you can think of one, please say so, because there isn't. It's even more important than food, actually, because you can live on water for days, can't you? So water is critical. And what's the biggest problem today with the water supply? The biggest problem, number one problem, is that they carry water in bottle, plastic. And what happens when you drink out of plastic? You ingest microplastics. You've heard of microplastics, but there's something worse than microplastics, and that's called nanoplastics. And did you know that 90% of microplastic is actually nanoplastic, nano? And that means it gets through the blood-brain barrier and lodges in the brain. So why do we carry water in plastic bottles? Why? Did you know that an average person is ingesting a credit card amount of plastic every month? So that's very dangerous, and all the issues related to the brain that are happening to people today can be partially connected to micro and nanoplastic getting into the body and lodging in the brain. So that's why it's very, very important, and that's why we want to save the health, save the planet by removing plastic. So we produce a machine that would go into your home, and that machine would make between 3 litres and 20 litres of the best water on Earth every day. So then you could make your own water. We call it pure water security, because then you don't need to depend on public water. And what's the problems with public water is you've got lots of contaminants inside the public water. Lead, for example, pesticides, hormones, and many, many other issues, viruses, you name it. Even cocaine. In London, you're actually drinking cocaine in the water because you can't get rid of it, and people are going to the toilet and that cocaine gets into the water supply. So there's no end of problems with public water. So why not have pure water security? And if you come to our booth, 1051, which is just around the corner, we have a session, an information session 1 hour before closing with some drinks and snacks. And anybody that wants information can ask me personally questions. We have the other filtration founder with us, a Norwegian gentleman. Sadly, the key scientist has died recently, but the one that made all these breakthroughs with the filtration of the water, so he can't be with us, sadly. But we've taken over his work, and there's a plan to work with a leading water university to prove the science. The key issue when it comes to marketing the technology is that we're going to use a dealer licensing model. We're not going to sell in the shop. We're not going to sell on Amazon online. Only people that buy what's called a master dealer license are allowed to sell the machine. So you can go into the market, and we don't even put any geographic limitation. So anywhere you've got contacts, anywhere in the world, you can launch your business. And what business can you launch today for less than £3,000? Not a lot, can you? So for £3,000, and that includes a sample of the machine, because you need to be able to demonstrate the technology. And this show that if you register, there's a $100 voucher that can be taken off your license. And you can get a return on investment within 6 months. And then the growth is exponential. And I'll explain why that is at the information session. If anyone has any questions, I've got about 10 minutes at the end. But let me just go through some of the issues. We've mentioned plastic bottles. This would eradicate carrying water in plastic, because then you can make your own water in an inexhaustible way in your own home. With one machine, it weighs 35 kilos because it's made of stainless steel, not plastic, and it would sit on the kitchen countertop. It looks like a very fancy coffee machine, but it's actually making water from the air 24 hours. And it also makes chilled water, so it's nice to drink, and it also makes boiling water for your tea. So it's got everything is in one unit, looks beautiful, and you've got a fantastic business opportunity in any market. And today is the launch, so we're launching XEROSTREAM globally today, so there's no limitation where you're located, and wherever you've got contacts in other countries, we can support you. I can personally train you, so anybody that signs up at the show, I would be the one personally training you, or my Norwegian co-founder would be the ones training you. And we also will explain the business model, which is very exciting. So if you go to the website, unless you have a dealer code, you can't buy a machine. So you don't need to worry that you're marketing it and then you're losing the business, because they need a dealer code to order a machine, which would be your dealer code if you're a licensed dealer. Some of the other issues, in America, for example, there are 50 billion plastic water bottles per year. Imagine that, 50 billion plastic water. And where does the plastic go? It ends up in the sea, doesn't it? A lot of it ends up in the sea. How much do you think that they actually recycle in London? It's only 10% or less than 10% is recycled. So 90% just goes into the waste, into the tip. That's why we have to eradicate plastic. Have you heard of endocrine disruption? The chemicals in the plastic mess with your endocrine system in the body. Have you heard of neurotoxicity? Microplastics may contribute to neurodegenerative disease through oxidative stress and inflammation. That's a fact. Have you heard of development risks? Nanoplastics can cross the placenta. Are you listening to this one? They can cross the placenta, but potentially affecting fetal development. That's how dangerous plastic is. And to give you one quote, nanoplastics are the most worrisome type of plastic pollution for human health. They can invade individual cells and tissues in major organs. And that was Shirley Mason of Penn State University. What about the environmental impact? 50 to 75 trillion pieces of plastic pollute the ocean. Did you hear that? 50 to 75 trillion pieces of plastic are in the ocean. Now, we need to get rid of that situation, and with our solution, you can make your own water in the privacy of your own home. And how long does it take to degrade microplastic? How long do you think that the plastic damages the environment? It's between 500 and 1,000 years it takes to degrade plastic. So XEROSTREAM is a solution for those newcomers. XEROSTREAM is a machine that you have in your home, and it produces between 3 and 20 litres of the best water in the world in your home without any pollution and without the need to carry water in plastic bottles. And because we give you the glass bottles or copper bottles or stainless steel so that you do not damage your health with our water. And then you don't need to have water transported. You imagine how heavy water is. It has to be transported. Just think about all the pollution caused just by moving water around Great Britain. And most people today appreciate water more than before, don't they? Because there's lots of science that's now understood. I give you some other interesting facts about the public water. It says, while tap water is generally safer than bottled water, it's got 60 times fewer microplastics. Notice it doesn't say that it doesn't have any microplastics, because it does. Even the public water that you're drinking from the tap has microplastics. And it says, public water systems are regulated, but contaminants persist due to aging infrastructure. Why do you think they're always digging up the roads in London? Because the infrastructure is going back to Victorian times. So you've got millions of areas around the world where lead is still in the ground, contaminating the water. Other contaminants, rust, for example, contaminates the water. So you've got lead, you've got nitrates, and that's from agricultural runoff that gets into our public water. You've got pathogens, E. coli, Legionella, all those things can get into the public water. And then you've got a lot of other disinfectant byproducts. So if you had your water scientifically tested today, you'd be shocked. You'd see a long list of what's in your public water. But XEROSTREAM is not plugged into the public water, so we don't have any of those issues. It comes entirely from the air. It's in the sky, and it's inexhaustible. There are billions and billions of litres of water. So we call it pure water security, which means that you don't have to be dependent on public water. Has anybody heard of the Flint, Michigan water situation? I don't know whether you remember, back in the time of President Obama, there was contamination in a town called Flint in Michigan, and people were dying because the water had got contaminated very, very badly. Do you think that could happen in another country? Do you think it could happen again? Of course it could. So we say, don't depend on the public water, don't depend on the government to protect your health. Take care of your health yourself. And that's why to invest in a Zero machine, so you could be a potential customer, but the opportunity today is to become a licensed dealer, because we will only go to market through a dealer licensing model, which means that if anybody goes to our website, they need a dealer license referral code to buy a machine. So we're protecting your interests. And as I said earlier, what business can you start for less than £3,000? Can you think of a business that you can start? Even if you were selling second-hand clothes in the market, you'd have to invest on a market stall, wouldn't you? And a stock of second-hand clothes. Do you think you could do that for £3,000? But imagine starting a water technology company, a license to sell our equipment and filtration for £3,000, and that includes a machine. And that machine will retail about $14.95. So the cost is very, very very, very beneficial for your wallet, I should say. And we're having an information session 1 hour before closing today at 10:51. I'm not sure what time we close today, but 1 hour before closing, if you head for 10:51, which is just round the corner, just over there, it's on the corner, you'll see the machine, because then you can come and look at the machine, you can taste the water, and then if you give us a review, there's a $100 voucher that you can use either for a dealer license or for a machine. So we're on 5 minutes to go. So if anybody has any questions, there's nobody with a mic to carry a microphone, but you could come to the front. Would you like to speak into the microphone here? Into my microphone? I'm not sure if that's on.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hi, my name is Sharif. So, first of all, good afternoon to you. Nice speech so far. Just one quick question, which is, I've just seen the machine. So your colleague advised that water is a purified water from humidity, right?
Yes.
And do you have to pour any water at all inside the machine?
Do you have
to pour any water inside the machine to get it purified? No. It just completely...
You would only need to empty the machine if you move it. So we had to move the machine to the exhibition. So we had to empty it and then put the water back in. But you don't normally do that, because it starts empty and then it fills up between 3 and 20 litres every day. I say between 3 and 20 because it depends on the humidity and the temperature.
All right.
Some countries have a higher humidity and a higher temperature, and that can make up to 20 litres.
Okay, I mean, I think this is great, and this is quite, I believe it's quite healthier.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you, sorry, I just came late, so I just missed most of it. I would like to ask you, like, how many models do you have? Do you have only the one I've seen in the here?
We have actually a pipeline of other models.
Okay.
But we don't want to reveal them at the show.
Okay. Do you have any plan to bring in the hydrogen water machine in the market?
We have samples here.
All right.
We have samples.
Do you have the machine in the market already?
You don't need a machine. We have a water flask that you fill from the machine.
Yeah.
Then it puts hydrogen in the water.
Okay. Do you have the flask here?
Yes.
In the show?
Yes.
All right.
So
that's great.
If you come 1 hour before the end of the show, I can show you the machine. You can taste the hydrogen water.
Yeah, I think that's very helpful for the kidney function.
So you have a machine that gives you hot water for tea.
Okay.
Beautiful hot water for tea. No problems that you have like you have in London. Beautiful water for tea. Yeah. And then you have chilled water.
All right.
And it's just like coming out of a mountain spring because of the nanofiltration that we use to restructure the water in a very beautiful way.
Do you have any outlet in here, London? So where I can... the question...
We have an exclusive business model.
Okay.
Where we only sell through a licensed dealer. So you could take a dealer license for £3,000. You get a sample of the machine, and we train you how to use the machine and how to market the machine. So it's like we call it a business in a box.
Okay.
Because
kind of franchising.
People want, it's like you could compare it to a franchise, but it's more simple and it's more independent than a franchise. It's not like McDonald's, which they tell you everything and you can't breathe. It's a more of a relationship, like a partnership, but we won't sell online. So if somebody tries to buy a machine, they need a dealer referral code.
Okay, so are you currently promoting or doing only B2B?
No, we want to get this machine that's in the show into every home.
Okay.
That's the plan.
I'm trying to ask you actually, the question is, if any end consumer, wants to buy the machine or buy the hydro water bottle.
Yes.
Where can they buy it?
Only from a licensed dealer.
Sorry? Licensed dealer.
Only from a licensed.
Do you have any licensed dealer in UK so far?
There's about 5.
5. Okay, so...
But it's a level playing field.
All right.
Right, because the UK is a big place, isn't it? So how many customers for water are there in the UK.
So that, for example,
Maybe 60 million people. Everybody needs water, don't they? So
yeah, for example, if someone from here would like to act as a consumer, and buy the bottle, they can find the details from the website.
you don't buy the bottle.
Okay.
You can order the hydrogen water bottle today.
Yeah.
You can order that.
How to do that?
We'll give you the link, but you'd have to come 1 hour before the close of the business, and then we'll have things prepared. We were actually. I'm not so well prepared today, only because 2 of our key people missed their plane, and I had to build the booth myself, and that's why I've not slept. So I apologise that I'm not in my best form today.
Well, thank you so much. There's a lot of helpful and healthy information you provided so far.
So if anybody has another quick
thank you so much.
But thanks for your time. So just, yeah, go on.
The question I have to ask is about the purity. Is there anybody who certifies the purity of the water? Is it regulated by anybody, and who's it certified? So it's actually
we've had to take that initiative ourselves, because the UK regulation doesn't apply unless you connect to the public water. If you connect a machine to the public water, it has to be very, very heavily regulated and certified. But if we're taking it from the air, we have to prove the science. So I've taken the initiative to work with a leading water scientist in Imperial College. And we're going to work very closely with a university who's going to scientifically prove, because much of what I'm talking about, apart from the microplastics, that's proven science. But the way that we structure the water, the evidence is anecdotal. That doesn't mean it's not powerful.
well, it's got big.
But it's not. But we are able, for the sake of the dealers, to scientifically. So all of our dealers will get a scientific report on the water quality, and I can show you how to test it. If you come 1 hour before, I'll show you. I'll make a comparison between the public water in London Excel. I'm going to show you what that water is like, and then I'm going to demonstrate water from a normal house jug.
Yeah.
And then I'll compare that to the purity with a simple machine, which will illustrate the benefits of XEROSTREAM if you compare it to the London water. But thanks for your time, and if you want to speak in the mic, I think we can. I don't know, waiting for the next person, but go ahead.
Hello, I try not to speak too loud,
Okay.
but to be audible.
Yeah.
So I have 2 questions.
Okay.
The first one is, I work for the company, and we were using Varian technology,
Right.
Varian, American company,
Yes.
to analyze whatever. Absolutely minute elements of
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever, and it was giving the full description
Wonderful.
of what's in the subject.
Wonderful.
Yes?
Wonderful.
So I wonder, is there any other technology, because they were absolutely first in the world with this kind of technology, of analytical technology. And it was widely used in Europe, in America, everywhere.
What if you have time today
Yes,
to come to our booth?
I love to.
Then because it seems that there's some synergy with what you're talking
Yes.
about, because we don't want to leave it as anecdotal. We want to demonstrate.
Absolutely,
Want to
absolutely. Yes.
demonstrate.
So the second question is, if I decide to, if anyone here decides to go into this business,
Yes.
there is only one possibility, that someone will come with, let's say, competitive business, which will be this level of filtration of any water, which stops the micro and nanoplastics completely. So this is like alternative technology.
Yeah.
I love your idea, because
Yeah.
this is, at the moment, it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
But we have a prospective competitors, which will be
I think
trying to develop
Yeah.
the other technology.
It's the same. I mean, look at Nokia.
Yes.
Look at the history of Nokia with the world's leading smartphone company, and they lost the whole market, didn't
Yes.
they? So
Yes.
it doesn't matter how big you are, you have to keep advancing.
Absolutely.
To keep advancing, but we've got a
So
lot.
this is just an open question,
Yeah,
which I guess that you are aware of.
yeah.
The-
I think
the market.
our forte is going to be the filtration and structuring the water, and we're going to stay at a high level because we're going to partner with a university, and we're going to prove the science, and we're going to do a joint venture to produce the filtration units together with a leading water university. That's how we're going to stay ahead. And the other companies in China that make water from air machines, they're just focusing only on the machine. Look, nothing to do with the health benefits. Whereas we came into this business for the health benefits and to eradicate plastic. So our entry is different, and our forte is always going to be the filtration
I understand.
after we produce the water.
So the idea is to be one step ahead of
One
the
step
competition.
ahead.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
I
thanks for
will
your
be
time.
visiting.
So B 1051, 1
1 hour before the end of term.
Yeah,
thank you very much.
So I presume I'm handing over to another speaker. Is the speaker here? Yes. Because if we're waiting for the speaker and anyone else has any questions while we're waiting, feel free. Any further questions? If you want to know more about the business opportunity, if you go 1 hour before the session ends to B 1051, we have some snacks and drinks, and we'll be able to tell you more in a more relaxed environment. But thank you very much for your time. My name is Mike Kellett. If anybody wants to look me up on LinkedIn, XEROSTREAM is a very unusual name. So if you Google XEROSTREAM, you really only find a New Zealand accountancy software called Xero and XEROSTREAM. So it's very easy to find information. You can find the links. You can register for the voucher today on the website. So you don't need my business card. But if anybody wants to take it to the next level, I will give you my word to personally train you. I can't do everybody, but probably the first 10 that sign up for the dealer license, I can give you my time personally, and that's probably worth about £5,000, and you're only paying 3. So if anybody signs up at the show, I will schedule a Zoom call to give you personal training, and you can also meet my co-founder who's a Norwegian, and he's the one that's worked for many years with this technology, producing water and delivering it to the public. So we're not just theory, we know that people will pay for this kind of water. But thanks very much for your time, and feel free, I'll hang around. I'm going back to 1051, but it's better to come 1 hour before closing because it'll be more relaxed and I haven't finished building things. Thank you.